So I've noticed that there's this really interesting thing that happens to fictional characters when you make them too powerful. When they're at the tippy top of the hierarchy in their respective universes, something kinda unbelievable happens. Let's get meta for a minute. The Beyonder from Marvel Comics. First introduced in Marvel's Secret Wars #1 in May 1984, the Beyonder is an immensely powerful entity that was introduced for their Secret Wars storyline. His origins were shrouded in mystery, but he's depicted as a limitless being whose power exceeds most comic-level individuals, if not all of them. In Secret Wars, the Beyonder created a pocket universe specifically to manipulate and study beings like heroes and villains, demonstrating the ability to craft worlds from nothing and obliterate them just as easily. His reality warping powers are so vast that he can reshape or destroy entire multiverses instantly. His power is so immense that the Living Tribunal and pre-retcon Molecule Man, who are considered some of the strongest characters in all of Marvel, are dwarfed by him. He's often depicted as a force that exists beyond comprehension. He's just an omnipotent curiosity. He was the capital G god of his own multiverse before he hopped into the Marvel multiverse to just have some fun. Alien X from Ben 10. First introduced in Alien Force Season 1, Episode 13, X equals Ben plus 2 in August 2008. Alien X is the most potent transformation that Ben Tennyson can access through the Omnitrix. It's described as a cosmic, godlike entity from an alternate dimension, embodying the power of creation and destruction itself. Alien X is composed of 3 consciousnesses: Bellicus, the voice of rage, Serena, the voice of love, and Ben himself, and they all have to agree to wield the celestial sapient's full power. Alien X can manipulate matter, energy, and even the fabric of space and time. It has demonstrated the ability to create or erase entire worlds, alter the laws of physics, and manipulate fundamental forces. In the series, Alien X is considered the ultimate form of power, though it's difficult to control due to the eternal internal conflict. And despite its raw power, Ben rarely uses Alien X because it requires intense mental discipline and a consensus amongst 3 minds. It's never been shown to do anything on a multiversal or omniversal scale, which means its feats aren't as concrete as some of the others on this list, but it's also never been implied that there are upper limits to its power. So if it was fully unleashed, Alien X could surpass most, if not all, beings it comes across. Madara Uchiha from Naruto. First introduced in Chapter 370 of Naruto in 2007. Madara Uchiha, the co-founder of Konoha and one of the legendary shinobi, sought to create a world of peace through control and enlightenment. His mastery over the Sharingan and later the Rinnegan made him a near immortal and unstoppable force. His backstory is intertwined with the history of the Uchiha clan and the founding of the ninja world. Madara's most jaw-dropping feat? Casting the Infinite Tsukuyomi, a colossal genjutsu that's cast over the entire planet that traps all living beings in an illusion of perfect peace. This technique essentially grants him control over everyone on the planet's minds, making him able to manipulate reality itself. This also may not be a universal, much less multiversal feat, but you'll see where I'm going with this. The One Above All from Marvel, and The Presence from DC Comics. First introduced in the sensational Spider-Man number 40 in October 2007, and Lucifer number 68 in January 2006, respectively. The One Above All is Marvel's ultimate divine entity, embodying the totality of omnipotence, omniscience, and omnipresence. And the Presence is the equivalent in DC, representing the supreme creator of the multiverse, an abstract force behind all of existence. Neither has a traditional backstory. They are the personification of existence itself. Both entities have been shown to create worlds, to erase realities, and to manipulate the fabric of existence with a mere thought. And in many stories, they're depicted as the ultimate source from which all other powers derive. The Presence and the One Above All are rarely seen directly, but are always acknowledged as the ultimate authority in their respective universes. God from the Divine Comedy. First introduced in 1321. Alright, hear me out. Even though this is technically the Christian God, this book was explicitly written as fiction. And we're not going to get into whether or not real-life religions are real or fake. That's an intrapersonal thing, so I don't even really want to hear about it in the comments. In Dante Alighieri's Divine Comedy, God is the supreme divine force, an omnipotent, omniscient being who presides over heaven and maintains order over everything in existence. While not a character in the traditional sense, God's role is as the ultimate judge and the monad of the universe. This God's power is being depicted as absolute, able to accurately manage infinite souls, create and sustain multiple worlds, and to enact divine justice for eternity. The divine will is beyond human comprehension, but in the narrative, it's portrayed as the ultimate source of moral and cosmic order, even for other deities. Dante's depiction of God is poetic and symbolic, emphasizing balance. It's not about raw power alone, but rather the ultimate authority over all of creation, ensuring that there is a consistent duality in all things. And technically, he has the best feats of any character on this list, as the creator from our definitive universe would have dominion over all of reality, including the fictional dimensions that are developed by us, making God impossible to defeat? SCP-3812, the SCP Foundation. First introduced in July 2015. Widely considered the most powerful being in the SCP mythos, which is saying a lot. He's originally a non-anomalous African-American man named Sam Howell, who died in 1996. And shortly after, he rose from the grave and transformed into an exponentially escalating reality-altering entity. What makes him so powerful? Well, SCP-3812 continuously ascends narrative layers. He perceives our reality in the way that we perceive a comic book. And as he rises through the layers, he realizes that he's a fictional character being controlled by an author, and he constantly outgrows the very stories that are written about him. He can completely wipe out objects, people, and abstract concepts like emotions or color from existence, which means he may be one of the only people that can surpass Dante's God. Eru Iluvatar, the Silmarillion. First introduced in September 1977. Eru Iluvatar is the supreme deity in J.R.R. Tolkien's Legendarium. He's the creator of all existence. He is the ultimate divine being who brought the universe into being through the great music of the Anor, shaping the world and all of life with it. Iluvatar's most impressive act was the creation of Ea, everything that exists, by singing the universe into being. His power is absolute, and his will is law. Nothing can challenge his authority. Iluvatar's role is more philosophical and divine rather than combative. It symbolizes the ultimate source of creation, order, and destiny, an omnipotent, transcendent force. Although, he did resurrect Gandalf because his mission hadn't been completed, so he's not an entirely passive observer. Bill Cipher from Gravity Falls. First introduced in Season 1, Episode 19, Dreamscapers, in July 2013. Bill Cipher is a chaotic, immensely powerful interdimensional demon from the animated series Gravity Falls. He's a triangular, one-eyed freak with reality warping abilities, seeking chaos and control all over the multiverse. Bill's most impressive feats feature his ability to manipulate space, time, and physics at will, creating bubbles of pocket universes that these characters can go through. He can possess minds, alter the laws of reality, and he even threatens to unspool the fabric of the universe itself, though he's ultimately limited by his arrogance. He also appears in multiple cartoons and forms of media, showing that he can transcend just the Gravity Falls universe. And despite being a cartoon villain, Bill physically exists in the real world as well, making him the only member on the list to do that. Honorable mentions. Prodigy, Guardians of the Galaxy number 15 in June 1991. A character in Marvel Comics who can adapt to surpass whomever or whatever they meet, literally accumulating any power he comes across, which means that if he meets a god, he becomes stronger than a god. The Writer. See, this I've always felt was the cop-out, like jerk-off edition. Imagine the creator of all these characters, the person who can rewrite and erase them at will. It's us. The ultimate overpowered entity, the person who came up with the story. Yeah, real creative. And last but not least, Batman, with prep time. In DC Comics, the Dark Knight is viewed as a threat by all who perceive him, not because of his combat skills, but because of his genius-level planning. Given enough prep time, he's capable of devising strategies to defeat gods, cosmic entities, or even universe-threatening opponents. You know, with those ancient techniques that he learned from the monks in Tibet. And you might be asking, how exactly does he defeat a being who could simply erase him from existence? Because he's Batman. And what do all of these characters have in common? They can become so powerful that it is impossible to prove that they're even fictional. That's right. There is no way to prove that we're not currently living in a reality that was constructed by one of these omnipotent beings. Our own reality could be fabricated by these stupendously overpowerful people. And for some people, it is, depending on your faith. That's because both our universe and their hypothetical power level are equally as infinite, so they become indistinguishable from one another. It's because our minds might be able to rationalize the idea of infinity, but we can't fully comprehend it. So, that theoretically puts us below these characters that we have created, since not only can they comprehend infinities, they can bend them to their will. And as soon as you can create at a perceivably universal scale, you join the category of the strongest character. And because of this, there will never be a definitive strongest, even amongst the ones I presented. Omnipotent is omnipotent. They're interchangeable. If you're able to create an entire reality, one where you make the rules, you've already won. And what's the point of fighting each other when you can simply erase your opponent, or hell, even the concept of conflict from existence? But think about it. Just try to prove you're not in the infinite Tsukuyomi right now, or a pocket dimension made by the Beyonder. You can't. And that's what makes them overpowered. Thank you for making it to the end of this video. So tell me, who do you think is the strongest fictional character? Who did I miss? And what sets them apart from my selections? Or, if you have any ideas for videos that you want to see in the future, drop them down below. We may just talk about it. Peace.